Thank you for introducing all esteemed panelists here. They're pioneers in retail industry. Uh, COVID-19 pandemic has impacted retail industry severely, and it will the it's converted things which is now called new normal, including the commerce. We went into lockdown right at the time when we were infusing fresh merchandise to our stores. And when the unlock happened, and that was also in a staggered way, when we were actually entering the end of season sale, the entire season's margins was bleeding. But these retailers, these pioneers of retail industry, did a lot of unified initiatives on the multi-channel commerce, which is now a new normal, which I would the audience here and the entire retail industry is keen to know. I guess the entire year this year will be a work from home, and people are not stepping out much. So the advent of selling online through Omni or through multi-channel from or digitally from the brick and mortar store has become a new normal. So I would start with the best practices from the leaders of this retail industry. My first question would be to Dr. N. Mohan. The Clarks has been pioneer in retail and footwear, considering your contribution of formal wear had been really high. And formals is, we all know we're not going out in a formal occasion or we're not stepping on formal might have impacted your category. But how's the shopping journey overall has changed to your business, and what solution you suggest for the industry leaders?
Thank you, Aray, and thank you, Bhumika, for introduction, and thank you, Dharmender. Thanks. I could see Venkat, my ex-colleague. Welcome, Venkat. And this pandemic has taught a lot of lessons, for us. Like you, Dharmender, you started. We all launched our SS20, and then we went into pandemic, and then everything. All of us, lost all of our sales. But I would say the unified commerce is a vaccine for retail. Yeah. I would definitely say this is a vaccine for retail. Like, what is a vaccine we are searching for COVID? In those 3-4 months, when we all went down, what we did globally also and also in India, number one, we said, we pressed the reset button. The life is not going to be normal going forward, and we all have to kind of change. And like you said, people are not going to come out and shop. So we need to find a way, and we need to make adaptations in terms of product, in terms of our business processes too. We can't say that this is what 200 years we have been doing. We are a 200-year-old company. It's a legacy brand. We need to evolve, re-evolve. So 2-3 things we did in our business, which is kind of, I would say, reasonably, it has resulted in terms of results. I wouldn't say it is 100%. As you all know, the brick and mortar in our stores, we are at 40 to 60%, depending upon the location of the stores of last year. That's what is currently. But what has happened is we have been able to activate 2-3 things in our business. Number one, we started the omni-channel. We kind of launched the omni-channel. Second is, the B2B, initiative, which is a big initiative for Clarks, because India is a country of, Europe is different compared to India. In India, people still goes to the shoe store to buy a shoe. He doesn't go into that things are changing, but it's going to take a lot of time. So there are a lot of retailers around the country who could be really interested in our Clarks products, and we don't have the bandwidth to service everyone. So we went on the B2B portal, and we have had excellent results. Let me tell you, the last 3 months, I say year to date, my e-commerce business is 80% of last year. That's a phenomenal growth compared to what we had been doing before. Yes. This is something which really, that has kind of come at the right, that we need to kind of adapt to new things. The customer, we need to have a way of capturing those micro moments. This is something which is we need to be relevant. How we can capture those micro moments, which is there, because the customer looks at the, even before pandemic, he had the habit of surfing the clothing store or somewhere, the brand, and look at what are the styles. In the lunchtime, he would go surf and look at the styles. And then when he goes home on the online, he would like to kind of, get into more details on what products and what offer. So we need to have a way of capturing those, be relevant and capturing those micro moments. And that's very, very critical for us. So we need to kind of relook and completely rethink about the whole strategy. And that's what, I think the going forward, we may have to do. And definitely, all of us, I would like to also hear from other people what they have been doing in their businesses. Thank you very much, Dharmender.
Thank you, Dr. Mohan. I think, Avnish, your business, Neeru's, is also on a similar lines, more formal, occasion where people step out for a reason and buy products from Neeru's.
Dharmender, there's one thing which I wanted to add.
Sure,
and
sir.
I didn't speak about the product adaptation.
Yeah.
We Clarks is known for the black and brown and dress shoes, like around the world. But there is an athleisure category which we sell exceedingly well in the US. We out of 25 million pairs we sell in the US, 8 million pairs comes from the athleisure category. So what we did in our business is we tried to launch that category in India, and excellent response. It's a technology plus comfort and everything. Excellent response which we got from both the e-commerce as well as in the retail. So that's the product adaptation which we have to change. So the life teaches you a lot of things, as this pandemic has taught us a lot of lessons. Thank you. That's what I wanted to add. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Mohan. Avnish, yours is a similar category, occasion wear, formal wear, and COVID has impacted the gatherings in occasion. There are no celebrations on a mass scale. People are not buying those formal wear. Although we've missed, or we had a couple of festivals in last 2 months, but though not that kind of craze. How do you at Neeru's has adapted on these situation on shopping journeys of the consumer?
Dharmender, first of all, because we belong to the ethnic wear industry, you know how the main reason you wear a sari, lehenga, or a sherwani is probably to show the people what you're wearing. Yeah. Now, when you don't have occasions to show people what you're wearing, that's the biggest challenge. I think that is what we are battling right now, because there are no festivals, there are no events, there are no weddings, and many people are not stepping out. Also, our clientele is, many of them belong to the 50 plus age group, who are the heavy spenders in this category. And, they are reluctant to come to the stores and everything. So I think this has been a big battling moment between us and the customers, that firstly, to bridge the gap, that you're wearing ethnic to show people that, today I've bought this attire, this lehenga or a sari, and now I'm looking good at this particular event for that. But I think there have been a lot of midways that people have, adopted from coming out with various product categories, and also looking at unified commerce in terms of omni-channel, being with the marketplaces, rectifying their own websites, also coming out with categories like masks. I remember during the lockdown, we had a huge demand of ethnic masks that people wanted. They said, we are attending weddings of 40, 50 people. I would still want to match a mask with my lehenga. So, those kind of categories kind of sprung up. And because we have a certain amount of production and factories were running, and we still wanted work to happen over there, we immediately got into the loop and started making every kind of mask available on earth to give to the customers, that, we would do home deliveries, we would tie up with Swiggies of the world, whatnot. I think that was the time everybody was just throwing away everything that they had for the required cash flows. But now that when things have settled, and one thing, I think like how Mr. Mohan said, the vaccine for retailers was omni-channel and also going digital. Because I think what we couldn't do for the past 3 years, we've done it in 3 months. Concentrating our efforts on the omni-channel business, and next is on being on the marketplaces and rectifying our own website. Because for an ethnic wear brand like us, the whole challenge is getting products shot, the kind of cataloging that we require to show a particular product. And ethnic is totally different from what you would want to show a footwear or a product shoot kind of a per se kind of a brand. So we had to do a lot of things to do that. But I think this pandemic has given us a wonderful return gift of choosing Omni as a backbone in this time, and to boost sales. And now we've done everything possible to put our footprint there, and also to concentrate on one very big category, that is everyday ethnics. So we've come up with this one concept wherein, if you're, for example, we are doing a Zoom call, I wouldn't know that you're wearing a swimming trunk beneath and wearing a formal shirt or
Yeah.
however the Zoom meeting is happening. But end of the day, people want comfort wear. They want the everyday wear. The colleges have started. The exams are being happening. People are doing small scale weddings. There have been daily. The offices have opened up. So everyday ethnics is a very big category that we are going to focus on for the next couple of months. And same thing we are going to be robust about on online and omni-channel with this particular category.
So thank you, Avnish. And as you said, mask has become a new category in the new normal,
Right.
as a new, and I believe all of us had omni-channel as a product in our stores in some way at some stage, but real adoption started coming in, use case started coming now. My next question would be to Mr. Rajesh Jain from Lacoste. How is the consumer behavior in the new normal, in the unified formats? I mean, the leveraging of the unified commerce is happening with Lacoste India. Rajesh? If Rajesh is not there, may I ask this question to Sanjay? Sanjay, how is this happening with Spykar? How is the unified commerce being leveraged for growth in the new normal?
Yeah, hi. So as Mohan also said that unified commerce has kind of come as a savior in some ways. I also agree on the same, but the only handicap that we faced was that though the intent was there, I think the kind of products that probably were in demand for the last 4-5 months were not exactly the products that Spykar was, kind of doing. So if I have to look at my entire basket of products, I was mostly doing denims, and work from home and denims, they really don't go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, for us to change everything at our end, and there were troubles on supply chain everywhere. So from that perspective, we kind of took a backseat with respect to transactions in that sense, and we kind of concentrated on how we could build the necessary infrastructure to kind of look at this from a very long-term perspective. So whatever business that we can do online, I'm sure it would be very small vis-a-vis what we are lost offline.
Yes.
And so for me, I reconciled with the fact that while I don't have the great product lineup for me to transact today, let me just build the whole system around so that future can be good for all of us. So today I'm very happy to hear and to understand from my team that nearly 250 stores of mine are online with Omni. We have a very robust fulfillment system which is going out of my warehousing. Our relationships with nearly all the partners are in place. So I think we would be able to kind of do well and to be part of this landscape where now the terminology which says unified commerce comes into play. So I'm fairly good and I'm happy, and I'm very happy with the fact that we had some time. These were lean days, and we could actually have conversations with our partners, because every single Spykar store is a franchise outlet. So that also brings in a lot of challenges, So from that perspective, to get all the franchisees to be sensitive to the idea of commerce, which is going to be omni in nature, and a lot of discipline would be needed at their end as well. So I think we've taken this time and used it very constructively to kind of build the right atmosphere around the business. And while we are speaking, we are also adding a huge collection with respect to work from home merchandise. So we just launched a whole innerwear collection. We are in the process of launching the leisure wear and the homeware collection. So hopefully we don't need this, but we would still have it if it's necessary. So as a category, we've added to the business, and we are hoping that we'll probably be able to offer this to our consumers.
Thanks, Sanjay. I can totally relate to the challenges on the franchisee side that you might be facing. We also have most of our stores on franchisee model, and besides omni-channel, we added marketplace. Our stores are now live on Amazon and Flipkart as well, and every order to be processed by 12 noon. Making that discipline and hygiene is still taking time for my store.
I'm sure.
And especially on the franchisee side. I'm coming to the next question. Venkat, you are CFO of Trent, and the main concern all of our leaders would like to know, how are you addressing the inventory management issues and the master data issues in the current times where a lot of sales, and when we were selling on brick and mortar, our POS used to give us a data in the way we wanted. Now in omni-channel, and as Sanjay mentioned, and as Dr. Mohan mentioned, we're live on Omni, we're live on marketplaces from stores, and multiple sales numbers and dashboards are being fetched by a CFO. And I see some challenges. I would like to know your experience and your suggestions on that.
Hello, Dharmender. Good evening, everybody. Nice to see Mohan. Always a pleasure. In terms of Dharmender, maybe in our case, case has been quite okay. We got a bit lucky in the sense that over a period of time, the systems have evolved and everything has been on SAP all along. And the POS was far more a reference point for individual locations and tills rather than it being a repository for information. So it was needed to process transactions at the front end, but it was not the single source of truth. All of it resided in the backend ERP system, and about a couple of years back, we had already gone to picking from store. What we realized is that ultimately the customer doesn't care what's your process. The customer cares if she wants a product. She wants the product at a price which she likes, and she wants the product now. And the whole trick is, we can have a process which is a lot simpler if we were picking from warehouse, but it obviously is far more inefficient with the way we are organized, and I guess many people are organized. We have a central distribution system. So if you pick it up from one location or two locations and try to distribute across the country, you're going to be far less efficient with your timelines in terms of servicing her expectations, as opposed to doing it from the store next door or in the same city. So that's something which we learned by the hard way, where we were around 4 or 5 days of from the time point the order came in till the time point that it was serviced. It got reduced on average to about 2.5 days, and with a significant proportion also happening within 24 hours. And given that we had to sync up on a live basis inventory that was there in the stores with what was being seen by customers on the online platform. So that move helped significantly when COVID hit us, because we were less than 1.5% on online, and I guess like many of us on this call, we probably ended up being almost 100% higher than last year. And what is also very interesting, Dharam, is that during this period, there's been a lot of trading down that we have witnessed. And a lot of customers have been very happy shopping for the same brand. There's a certain level of, we always thought loyalty online was very hard to come by. But if you have a customer who likes a brand and knows the fit and so on and so forth, she's been clearly coming back to the brand. I guess Mohan mentioned about Clarks. I guess there is a certain resilience and salience that the customer has, an affinity that the customer has for a brand. And we can see that resonance playing out, because she doesn't want to go and shop necessarily. Not all of them want to go and shop in a regular shopping environment, but they're very happy to leverage the convenience that online offers. And that has meant that the trading down, plus coupled with this bit about shopping for convenience for the same brand which they know, has meant that the number of units that we have been able to do is far higher than the amount of value that we have realized. So if your value is 2x, your units is something like 3.5x or something of that kind of order. So in many ways, inventory has ceased to be a problem. It is quite a paradox, We started worrying about inventory, when COVID happened. But I think now in September, given the fact that we've recalibrated buying, we've done a lot of other things to conserve cash and kind of optimize inventory around the chain. And the traction that we have seen both online, especially online for lower price products and casual product, and the traction that we are seeing in standalone stores offline, inventory has ceased to be a problem, and data is not an issue. The challenge continues to be that we are nowhere near what used to be sales levels in the previous year, and also the visibility of what's going to happen in the next few weeks and months is still very nebulous. We can celebrate the fact that the trajectory is so much more encouraging than what we were biting our tongue for, but we still are grappling with quite a bit of negative comparative sales growth, as well as ambiguity on what's the next few weeks and months are going to bring to all of us.
Yeah, so that ambiguity was also because there was so much staggered and ambiguous lockdowns which were happening sporadically in some cities, some zones. Suddenly the store which started performing, you hear that it's gone under containment zone, and which impacted. Venkat, my another question on this, and probably Dr. N. Mohan can also see if he can answer. There is a lot of returns when you expand your omni-channel or online sales by 100%. Most of us has done that. There is 20% is the normal returns that we all would have been receiving. Product like a footwear, if you get a damaged box back, it is become or normally not is non-sellable for us, and we consider less than 1% is our store unsellable stocks which we send back to our warehouse for refurb or scavenger. Now that percent has gone to 2% or more, because once you send back, there are chances of some people sending back used or some type of damage and soiled, which is impacting our inventories as well. Dr. N. Mohan or Venkat, who may be helpful in answering this question, how they're solving this problem.
Venkat, while you take a little respite, I'll answer this question. I'll tell you, the return has been the biggest problem in the e-commerce business. We have close to 23% of returns coming in. So, how we can solve the return issue. This is an issue which is going to be there, and the unified commerce is going to be the new normal going forward. So what we did, one is the technology. We need to kind of use the technology. We are kind of invested in a new technology, which we would be introducing it sometimes in October, November, where a customer can download an app from my website. He needs an app from my website, and he need to kind of take pictures of the feet in 2-3 different positions, and it will be specified, and he need to kind of send it back to the thing, and we will give a number. Okay, that number basically is a scanner. It kinds of measures the entire foot, and it will correlate to the kind of, what are the returns? The returns is on account of the fitting is not okay. In footwear, that's the biggest problem. Fitting not okay, it doesn't fit me. So many times what happens, since we don't have the proper sizing, in the country, this has been the biggest problem. Our 23% of returns is on account of fitting, the shoe not fitting. So we have an app. We are kind of, we are still, the backward integration is taking place. And we would introduce this in the market, and which no one has it. Let me tell you that no one in India has it. So this is something which we are working on. So what happens is the customer will be able to take some pictures of the feet. We will specify how to take the pictures and upload it in the app. Then what happens, we will be able to give them the fitting. This is what your match fit number is. This fit number is. And that number, whenever they choose a product, will automatically lead you whether she has to buy a size 3 or a 3.5 or a 4, depending upon the fit. So 99% of the time you're bang right, because the last measurements and everything in a footwear, it's all stored in the database, so it will automatically pick up. So we need to make use of the technology, in this kind of time, because it's something which is inevitable. All of us are going to have this return issue. The second is, we need to kind of look at what are the practices when a customer walks into a store. What does he do when he goes into the store? He tries it. One is the fit problem is there. How does it look on the feet? So we need to be able to present the product in a much better way. Like how the shoe product will look in the, the easy to wear, we call it as. So all our websites, all our products are going to be kind of uploaded with the software, whereby we will show the shoe in different directions, like how it is going to look on your feet, when you can look at it in the front view, rear view, side view, and everything. So the customer, when he goes and tries in the stores, that's what he does. It fits. Okay, he is going to see in the mirror. So we need to kind of make use of the technology, the new evolution, to reduce the returns. That's a challenge. Like what Dharmender said, like when the things come back, you need to change the box, you need to change the tissue wrapper, some people don't, mess the shoes, they kind of squash it. You need to kind of uplift it. Sometimes you have to refinish it. Sometimes you need to kind of just write it off. So in my opinion, going forward, the technology will play a very important role, and we need to be kind of evolve ourselves. We need to imagine how a customer is going to react in the stores, and then make it very easy for him to choose the product and reduce the returns that way. So that is what we are following in our company. Over to you, Venkat. Thank you.
Very, very pertinent comments. Mohan, we never approach footwear that way, so I guess it's good to hear the approach that you folks are taking. One of the things that kind of changed in this period, especially with respect to returns, is this non-availability of COD has made a difference to return percentages. The more the seriousness of the customer who's actually paid for the purchase, the less is the likelihood that she returns. I'm just talking empirical numbers. We're probably returns are down by something like 5 or 6% compared to the period when 70% of the business was on COD. And the absolute business itself was lower, much lower. And today, because 100% of his upfront paid, our return percentages are much lower. And the other thing that seems to have worked reasonably well, and it was more by default rather than by more by trial and error rather than by insight that we landed up with it, is to re-aggregate ratio packs. So the more we are able to re-aggregate ratio packs in our warehouse and cluster it, then the liquidation, the putting it back to work, so to speak, for the customer at full price or whatever the price is, becomes so much more easier than if you have broken ranges. And if you're having one unit in one store, which is all in broken ranges, the picking efficiency drops enormously, and the availability and the servicing timelines increase quite significantly. So I think a couple of these strategies coupled together make returns a far more tractable problem now than it felt like when we kind of embarked on this journey.
Yeah, thank you, Venkat. Thank you, Dr. Mohan. My next question would be to Prabhu Paulson. Prabhu, there is a lot of work which Microsoft is doing. We, during the COVID times, used Kaizala for trading, and then the SOP management. Now the touchless attendance also is used on Microsoft products. I would like to know from you how retail can have solutions from technology leaders like Microsoft on the new normals, be it on the consumer side or be it on our employee side.
Sure, Mr. Khanna. So thank you so much for the ability to interact with so many of you as thought leaders, right? And while just want to rehash a couple of things that I heard from each one of you as thought leaders and try to bring in the other aspects that you've raised, Mr. Khanna. So the first thing is omni-channel has become the new normal. As Dr. Mohan said, it is the vaccine that we need for our industry. And another thing is the micro movements or the smaller aspects of our customers are becoming a lot more difficult, given that, we don't have the look and feel. All of this is happening behind the screen and very little human interaction. And this is where Microsoft is spending a lot of time trying to look at customer behavior and customer insights. Now, this is based on what you have from customer purchasing patterns, customer preferences, how much of it is online, how much of it offline. All of those, we try and bring it in using solutions which plug into your existing CRM solutions, right? So if you have someone whom you're interacting with, or if your customer is interacting even through your web applications or your apps, these insights go out to your customers, saying that, hey, this is the kind of things that you've purchased in the past for your kids, for your husband. And that's how you can start being a little more relevant to them, even if they're not walking into a store looking at a 360-degree view, the ambience that usually awaits one of our retail customers. The second one, apart from customer insights that we help, is we're seeing there is an immense increase on fraud with online purchases. So with online purchases, we're seeing that transactions, there's multiple levels of fraud, right? There's fraud at a transaction level. We did speak about COD, right? That's becoming a challenge. So people order, there are losses that retailers incur because of returns. How can we use that how can we use that information to know who are these common defaulters, to avoid these, shipments back and forth? Could one phone call just confirm and ensure that we avoid those losses? And the third thing is we look at how people are exploiting certain discounts, like, first-time users get a certain discount, right? So this is what we at Microsoft are using as fraud protection, especially for our retailers. We look at all levels. We look at transactions, we look at returns, as well as from account creation, thereby ensuring that the actual bottom line is not impacted for our retailers. And the third thing, and I will close, is while all of this is happening, we are hopeful that at some point things will come back to normal. We are waiting for our customers to walk back into our stores.
That's certainly, yeah.
Yeah. And when that happens, we want to make sure that we have equipped our retail partners with the right set of solutions, not only for customers, right? It's also for your employees. You want to make sure that the employee health is fine. You're able to, do some amount of tracking and tracing. You want to probably have applications that integrate with an Arogya Setu. So, you can look at just not, hey, my employee is right here, I'm safe, but also able to look at where he's gone in using the open APIs the government has opened up. And also when customers walk in, we are working with our Surface division where customers can just, enable their loyalty using their face. You can enable face recognition. So when you walk in to your store, you don't have to touch anything, right? They know you walked in and you can just speak in, say, I'm okay with you taking note of me coming in. And that also notifies the floor salesperson that this person with this amount of loyalty, these amount of points, these amount of preferences is walking in. So we're working on all three. We're giving more insights on existing omni-channel. We're trying to avoid fraud and give more protection to our retailers. And most importantly, fingers crossed, when we open soon, we want to make sure that our employees as well as our customers feel safe.
Certainly, I wish everyone wish that this panic and pandemic goes off and we get our customers back. I give you an instance when the lockdown was there and we were getting the new guidelines from the government that you had to have at a certain square foot, not more than these number of people in the store. We created an appointment app, so you can put an appointment or probably do a scan and QR code and then get your token ID. And we built all this and piloted it on a CP store. And when we realized customers not even there to use this, so rest of the store we just had a customer or some store staff telling the customer that wait for another few minutes, then there's certain people already in. So yeah, there are technologies, and I hope all these can be utilized when things become back to normal. Avnish, my question to you: there is technology on the customer side. Have you engaged with your customer in some way through your loyalty program, or you make your product live on the marketplaces so that people who are still searching for party wear and fashion ethnic wear can shop your product and see available offers?
I think in our experience, we've realized that when you talk about e-commerce, as our business is majorly driven by salespeople, when you talk about selling a sari or selling a lehenga or selling a higher end product, So there's a lot of involvement of the sales team that does while selling that particular product. Because when you're doing a wedding shopping or a high-end shopping or even an occasion wear shopping, so you need a lot of access to the trial rooms. You need a lot of explanation of the product that you're showing to the customer, the fabric, the embroideries, because it's so intricate. So we as a team had always thought that this is going to be a challenge when we go online. So, how will we make a spokesperson stand on a website and explain the product to the customer? Because a lot of our customer is, we also at Neeru's have a lot of Indian diaspora that lives abroad, is a huge customer for us. So people sitting in US, UK, Dubai, everywhere. So they have been shoppers at our website, and somehow the Indian marketplaces don't cater to them there. So we lost a little opportunity there because our website was still under getting into more on up to date to today's requirements. So when we spoke about the facilities that we can give on the online platform, was the majority issue came in the sizing of the product. So like how he mentioned for footwear, similar is the problems with the sizing with the ethnic wear, because it's not one size that fits all. It's not a denim wear. It's a 30, 32, 36, 38, and job is done. So, when you talk about if your height is different, if you belong to a particular area in the country, there's a different taste for North Indian. There's a different taste for a South Indian. A silk sari won't be as appreciated by a North Indian, whereas a salwar kameez wouldn't be for a South Indian. So ethnic in an overall was a huge study before we entered the whole e-commerce space. But eventually, I think once we got our sizing right, and once we entered the everyday ethnic format, because we realized a lot of marketplaces asked us products which are actually at a price point between 800 to say 3,000. So that was a challenge for us. And a lot of people nowadays are opting for fusion wear that has suddenly come up. And, people want to wear a very light product, but yet look ethnic. So challenges, I'm sure there are many challenges for every category, because I'm we are more of product people. So I will talk more on product. I may sound boring in that, but ethnic is a big study on its own. So it cannot be as a footwear where there are 4 sizes or 2 colors. You cannot have one set of saris. One set of a sari cannot come in a small, medium, large, for example. So you have a color set. So, there are so many things while cataloging when you go online. It's a big challenge. But finally, I think in the past 30 days, we've broken a lot of our heads. We've spoken to a lot of marketplace partners. They have also come to a conclusion wherein, we need to have a different way of looking at ethnic wear. And now with the huge cataloging that we did in the past 30, 40 days, we are ready for the upcoming festival season for Dussehra, Diwali, and many other festivals for us, like even like a Karwa Chauth or for small weddings that are going to come in front. So there are so many things that are there in the October, November. We always said that 15th October to 15th November is a IPL for retail. Those 30 days, we all have to put our best foot forward. Let it be omni, let it be e-commerce, your brick and mortar, your WhatsApp catalog, or digital, Instagram, social media, whatever you have. I think all that has to be ready for those 30 days, and the number of SKUs you plan to have on online and how many stores you can get available as omni, that is going to be a challenge. We have time till 15th October. I think all of us are working on similar lines. And once we get all that sorted, then we are going to see a huge traffic coming in. And then it's on the markdowns that you take hit on, because nobody's looking at what is the bottom line today. Although everybody in lockdown spoke more about bottom line, less of top line. But now I think a lot of day-to-day issues that everybody has to meet. Every brand is talking about reaching those top line numbers and getting rid of some of the working capital problems, and then infuse something for a better time, that is November, December, January, and the years is after that. So I think it's generic for everybody.
Yeah. There was an interesting solution. We experimented video-based shopping. So we had a camera, phone, and then there is a tablet. There was two-way communication. The consumer can put on chat, and he can see our salesman talking to the customer. And we faced a similar challenge in a Nike store. The consumer started asking for shoes at 900, and they said, "Boss, this is Nike. You probably has landed in the wrong store." And that video-based shopping has had multiple stores, which has some value stores as well. So value format stores as well. And you rightly said, October starts the big IPL for retail, and I believe Future Group used to call Sabse Bade 5 Din from 1st of October, the 2nd October weekend, uh, as one of the biggest festival of retail. And beyond that, you have all those festivals coming in and the e-commerce sales coming in. Very interesting discussion so far. Anyone else want to add on quickly one solution that will be quick turnaround to solve this, the customer in walk-ins as a problem. So we also experimented WhatsApp bot, social. I would like to know from Sanjay or Dr. Mohan. Walk-ins is a very severe problem right now, especially in the mall stores when the multiplexes has not started operating. Sanjay, what is that you're working on to make sure even in the less walk-ins you still drive sales revenues?
So as you said, I mean, it's very little that one can do to get people out of their homes in such an environment where people are scared about their own lives and the health of the near and dearer ones. So I think in this atmosphere, the only few things which remain with us are that we should try and see if we can convert our consumers, whoever are walking into, to actually get them into buying the products, each and every one of them. So at Spykar, we have a whole program where any store which has 100% conversion for the day, there is some kind of a small reward which goes to the whole team. Besides the conversion, I think the basket size becomes very critical over here. So, as much as what we can make him buy, that's eventually what our eventual endeavor should be, and the team's endeavor should be. So these are the two basic parameters on which the business can run as of now. I feel it's counterproductive to kind of make people get out of their homes and come to the store to buy, because we might be seen as people who are selfish and not considerate, So we are not doing much on that front. But yeah, whoever is walking into the stores, the most important part, what we've done is we've kind of restricted the discount. So, it's denims is one of the most abused category as far as discounting is concerned. So, what we've seen this time is that even though my compatriots have been giving better discounts in Spykar, we have restricted the discounts to a very reasonable level. What our logic was that who's coming out and buying today? People who are either completely frustrated sitting at home, or somebody who doesn't care what's happening to him, or who's least bothered about all these things. So these are people who are kind of, I feel they're more callous in nature, okay, and they are actually venturing out today. So they are not the people who are actually seeking discounts. So we kind of minimize the discounts. We try to maximize the basket size, and overall, if I see it's kind of built in better margins for me vis-a-vis what I used to get out of my business. So I think these are the few areas which are left in our hands and in our control, and it makes more sense to kind of go on and hit them well on that.
Sanjay, what I also meant was, since customer is not able to come to our stores, there are things like home delivery, curbside pickup, the store going to the home. So we have Levi's or other brands. I'm sorry, I'm taking a competitor brand in front of you, but the brands are bringing a store to your house. So the entire van has the shop environment, come to your community, does a 1 day, 2 day event, people do their shopping, and keep on the engagement and touch. The touch and feel experience also is there, which is all actually missing in the omni-channel or the digital.
So my apologies for not getting your question right, but Spykar, so we have not done the exercise of the store on the wheels, okay. But what we have done is that, and I think Anish mentioned it while he was speaking about the WhatsApp catalog. So as I told you, we have around 280 stores now, and all of them are franchise-led. And typically, an owner is operating out of that store. So the whole consciousness for the owner is quite high to maintain relations with his customer. And what we've done is we have kind of used some tools where we can create smaller WhatsApp catalogs. And so we are pushing out interesting product ensembles to consumers. So it's not going as a one large catalog of Spykar, It's a very localized effort. Every store is mapped and every store's inventory goes into a catalog. And the HO is kind of deciding as to what is today's communication going to be, whether it's just the check shirts which are going out to the consumers, whether it's just the communication on boxers. So it will pick up all the catalog, all the boxes from the catalog, make it into a smaller catalog and move it out to the store. And the store in turn sends it out to all their, it broadcasts to all the people that are there on their WhatsApp. So it's a very local and a very rudimentary effort, but it's kind of paying a good result and dividend, because we are seeing that my stores are delivering to the doorstep. They're actually moving there with multiple sizes and different color options, so that the customer really doesn't feel the dearth of options to pick up his goods from. And yeah, it's kind of keeping the whole machinery moving. I will not say that it's kind of taking care of the whole business loss, but I'm saying that the entire system is infused because there's something new happening. There's something there are efforts which is more proactive than reactive, and that's kind of helping the whole system to kind of keep itself well oiled and in the right spirit.
Sure. Dr. N. Mohan, you would have some similar...
Yes. See, we are doing similar things only. The WhatsApp catalog, we have a loyalty base for each and every store. And then, we are approaching the customer and we take the product to their home, depending upon the convenient time. And that's what we have been doing. And then we have been able to increase, more than anything else, build a lot of relationship, a lot of customer loyalty. Look, these guys are coming to our doorstep and there is an occasion, which they can't come. And our customers are, most of our customers are high net worth individuals, and they appreciate me coming to the doorstep and then trying to service them. This is something which is very, 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 very interesting. That's what we have started. But I would say the results have been very great. But definitely, it has helped us build a lot of relationship, a lot of loyalty. And then they in turn recommend to their colleagues, their friends who are not a class customer. So that way, we have been able to get more customer traction. That's it's helping. That's number one. That's one thing which we are doing. My take is, we need to celebrate. The conversions have improved quite drastically, and we have schemes like what Sanjay ji mentioned in our stores too. The conversions are dramatically improved. Only the serious customers visit the mall, and they come in and they are very standard customer. They also know the product. They go through our website and then check the products out, and then comes and buys it straight away. So the conversions have improved. Second is we need to celebrate the customer walking into the stores. That's my personal take. We need to celebrate in whatever form it is. We need to kind of, give them something, because they are taking a special effort to come into our stores. And from my past experience in 2000, when I was working in Hong Kong, I was stuck in 2004, I think. A similar SARS thing occurred, but it was specific to a particular region. I still feel, in my personal opinion, this is a very strong opinion. I voice it to every platform. India, or as soon as the festival season sets in and all, we are going to kind of see some pent-up demand. We are going to have revenge shoppers coming in who will kind of look at this thing. Definitely, that's what I'm a positive person, and definitely over the next 3 to 4 months, we are going to see some spurt in sales, and perhaps whatever we are discussing today, will all come true. But nevertheless, that's what I feel. It will take about 3 to 4 months for us to stabilize. Today is a survival. And 4 to 5 months later, it will be a revival thing. And I will take in 12 months, we all will thrive. This is my personal opinion. From the footwear perspective, I recently submitted a document to the Government of India. And we did a complete research, because one of the important sector after apparel is footwear for Government of India. As a chairman of non-leather footwear thing under the Make in India program, you will be very surprised. India is the only country in the last 3 years has a CAGR growth in footwear of about 7.8 to 7.9%. I'm telling this is in terms of numbers. If I have to compare China, it's about 2.7%. If I have to compare America, it's 1.7. UK is minus 11.4, and Germany is about 1.5. So I'm saying, we are the second largest consumer, and then we have a fantastic opportunity. That's what my feeling is. That's what I would like to kind of submit to this group. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mohan. Very interesting and insightful discussion and points which has come up. Paul, on the closing note, any kind of tech solution to service the customer, or probably a loyal customer sitting at home but wanting to come and shop and not able to come out and shop because of fear of getting a virus?
So again, goes back to our e-commerce platform, where we try to make sure that when we talk about omni-channel, it's just not omni-channel in a very simple way, saying, hey, you can reach my store in every simple way, but it's also try and make the experience as real as possible. We also make these pop-up ads, not pop-up ads, pop-up chatbots within the website, within the app, whatever the customer is comfortable with, making the whole process extremely interactive, using Azure, the backend, to make it, in case today, if you look, my mother, who is a senior citizen, is not able to go to a shop. And all that she needs is basic footwear, basic clothing. But she's not very well with a smartphone. Half the time, all of us are on our laptops doing video conferencing calls and Zoom calls. So it is imperative that she should be able to have a voice-led conversation. So this is where we are trying to bring in a little bit of a change at a different demography. A demography that is the most impacted by the COVID situation, where the senior citizens are not able to leave their house, and neither are they very friendly with technology the way most of us are. So that's one of the things where we are trying to make a difference from a demography perspective to make sure things are accessible.
Great. I think we've covered most of the points. I'll start last 5 minutes for questions from the audience. The question I see right now on my screen is WhatsApp for business? WhatsApp chat include WhatsApp shopping too? Yes, includes. I think Sanjay would like to, tell us more about the WhatsApp bot, chat bot, and shopping experience on WhatsApp. Sanjay,
so as I told you, we kind of kept it quite simple. We have not got into the stage where we use the WhatsApp bot and much more into it. We just kept it quite simple, where there are a couple of vendors who have this application which can be created into catalogs and smaller catalogs, and it flows from your from the ERP. It sits on top of your ERP in some ways. So I think, and then the right and it's quite democratic in that sense. I mean, it's a retail store of mine can also create his own catalog if he has to, depending on what the customer he has in mind wants to see. So we kept it very rudimentary. We're not really put too much effort. I would not say effort, but we're not really gone all out on using WhatsApp, because there are certain constraints on WhatsApp also with respect to talking to many more people. So from that perspective, we just left it at creating catalogs which are through this application and sending them out as a broadcast group.
Okay, so in Sports Station, I'll add on to that answer in for that audience. In our one of our format, Sports Station, we have created a two-way WhatsApp bot. You say hi, and then it start giving you certain answers, and you pick and choose your category, gender, and liking, and it throws certain catalog products. You do some interaction, and after a certain point, the bot realizes that you're getting stuck, and then it takes taken over by a human. So there is one development we are doing. We've tied up with a partner which is actually a partner with the National Restaurant Association of India as well, and all restaurants in India are actually using that kind of a bot to help restaurants order food from home. And there are WhatsApp bot solution which enables shopping. I think that should be the answer to that audience. There is another question on what are your views on smart vending machines operated via smartphones to make purchases and product payments in respect to FMCG products at high footfall locations like mall, airport, societies, railway, metro, with operators features like live inventory and tracking. I think that's a very relevant question. I've seen certain product like this by Tesco on subways of Korea. Venkat, your parent company, does these kind of product, and in my ex-company, Home Shop 18, we make that kind of a product live in T3 Delhi Airport, where you can scan a QR code and get the product on your cart and do a shopping. Venkat would like to say more. especially on the FMCG side, because the lady has asked.
There are, in many ways, I guess this whole thing comes back to how synchronized systems are at the back end.
Yes.
It's in order to be able to deliver and do justice to the customer expectation of instant recognition of a particular product in a particular location and instant availability, at least tracking. The whole technology backend becomes super important, and in many ways, what we've realized is keeping it. Sanjay probably mentioned it the most number of times in this call. Keeping it simple, keeping it simple. And for instance, one thing that's really helped matters is if we scan every piece of inventory moving. It helps, because then the sanctity of inventory that's showing on the system and what's available physically, and consequently what you can put out on the front end, whether it's a QR code, whether it's an order, whether you're saying that the product is available in a particular size, in a particular location, all of that becomes so viable if the backend systems are are capable of dealing with live tracking, and two, are kept simple.
Yeah, there's another question by Manasi. With omni-channel, customer life cycle is critical. Which CRM is recommended for consumer durable retailers? Venkat, you or Dr. Mohan, if you want to answer that, which CRM?
We've really not applied our mind too much to it, Dharam. At the end of the day, what we've focused on is slicing and dicing data, and we've used both TCS to help us slice and dice on one side, and the other side we've used Sequity to help and slice and dice. As long as it's live and we control usage of the data, we've actually stepped away from directly investing in a CRM system, and SAS has been far more at least for us, it's worked quite well.
Sure. Dr. Mohan, what CRM you recommend for retailers?
See, to be very honest, we are just evaluating various things. Like one of this unified commerce, what it does is the customer would like to have the same kind of feel, whether he touches your online stores or offline stores, same kind of information and everything, he wants it all same. He wants you to know before he enters the shop whether you've got the product. He wants you to suggest things. There are so many things, which are there. So we are kind of, we are talking with our global partners also, because it has changed, this life has changed around the globe. So we want to kind of go in for something which will kind of serve the purpose of around the globe. This is still, we are not made a decision. We are evaluating few things, but I don't think I'll be able to comment on that.
Yeah, but as rightly said by Venkat, CRM in this unified, in omni-channel world, and you're dealing with your same customer on multiple channels, is really, really important. There are a lot of CRMs which are available in the market. We have various platforms within businesses within SSIPL. We're using Easy Rewards. We're exploring more right now. There is M-Loyal by Paytm and a couple of more. I think for CRM as well, you need somebody who understands how to control your consumer data. So at least have one team who daily digest and work on those slice and dice that data on who's your customer and what's next for that customer, why it is not coming to your store or interacting with you, do your cohort analysis, and then explore a CRM solution. That would be my take on this question. I think there's one more question. What's this from Shusmita? What are your views on small and medium-sized industries, FMCG and fashion, adapting to omni-channel technology? What are they likely to adapt, especially in tier 2 and tier 3 cities? Avnish, Sanjay, you would be present in tier 2, tier 3 as well, I believe. Sanjay, your product is available in...
Yeah, so let me just get the question right.
Yeah, so she's saying, what are your views on small and medium-sized industries?
Sure.
Adapting to, especially for customers in tier 2 and tier 3 cities?
So I can say from my experience, I'm part of the management committee for CMAI, which is a which is a governing body for all the clothing manufacturers of the country. And our members are probably a good set of melange of all kind of sizes. And what I've realized, and this was the last week, we had done the first digital trade show for CMI, and the kind of response that we got from people who wanted to exhibit, was extremely high and very encouraging. So my view is that this last 5 to 6 months, where so much has already gone online, it's kind of created the right ecosystem and the atmosphere for India to start transacting a lot more on e-commerce. And I feel this is godsend in some ways. All we need to do is that we need to move from the value offering to some other reason to actually go and shop and buy, which is more of convenience versus value offering. So once that happens, I think the habit has been created. The habit has been created across all kind of consumer TGs. And I think this is something which is going to stay with our consumers. The smaller town people are feeling a lot more at ease because now they know that geographies are not going to really, hold them back. And this is something which is pan-India, it could be pan-universe in that sense, but at least pan-India for their sake. People like Udaan have done a great job. People like Flipkart B2B is doing a great job. So I think the whole industry started moving a lot more faster from a perspective of adopting to changes. Consumers at the same time in the trade, they're also adopting because for them, there was nothing else to do. I mean, this was the only option left for a lot of people. So by virtue of the fact that by, either I adapt to it or adopt it or I don't survive, that kind of was the situation for a lot of people. And I know because today I sell out of nearly 400 cities in the country, and a lot of these stores of mine, which are spread across small towns, I know towns which are 50, 60, 70,000 population plus, also have adopted to these methods. And today, they are very, very comfortable, looking at catalogs. So this was the first time Spykar did a trade show within our own community of retailers and distributors, where not a single garment was produced. It was all on CAD and all on system. So, and it was a very well received trade show for us. I got my entire spring summer booking only on that. So, I mean, I'm sure there would be a marked difference between actual product and what appears on the screen. But having said that, they are happy to adapt. I think that mindset change is happening, and it has been pushed on us, and people have received it well. So I think for digitalization of the entire business of the country and everything which moves towards that, I don't think there could have been a better time and moment than what it is now. So I think all of us, whether as entrepreneurs or as thought leaders, while we are adapting to all of it, I think that the whole world is around us also adapting very well to it.
Sure, I'll wrap it up. And as Sanjay said, the adoption in tier 2, tier 3 is actually more, and people there are very excited because the physical presence of your brand was not there. And the moment they get some opportunity to buy your brand in those cities, they take it. And I am getting very good response from Northeast, J&K. Kashmir has become very good market for us suddenly, and a lot of demand from these areas, which was not explored by brick and mortar retail till now. I'll wrap up this session. Very thankful to Dr. Mohan, Sanjay, Prabhu, Paulson, Avnish. And Venkat. It's been very insightful session, and I think all of us had very great learning, and our audience must have got a lot of insights. And as Dr. Mohan and Sanjay said, Prabhu said, this shall pass, and this is a small time left in the pandemic fear, and we are hoping to get the recovery of our businesses really, really fast and really, really soon.